United States is at a moment where it could really transform its assessment systems. Most of our testing is multiple choice tests. Pick one answer out of 5. Our assessments need to evolve to reflect the skills and knowledge that we actually value and that we need schools to teach and our students to learn.
Assessment is intended to measure understanding. But what does understanding actually look like? Do we know how to reveal it or create it? 6th grade students at Conservatory Lab Charter School, an expeditionary learning school, had the opportunity to illustrate their understanding of geology in the form of this graphic book.
At the beginning of 2012, we did a lot of work in the 6th grade classroom just on who are we as learners and how do we think and participate. So we used Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, and what came to light was that students generally identified as being visual learners and they loved graphic novels. This was a huge part of who they were as a class, and so we decided to create a project all around that. And Grotto Go to Hemlock Gorge was the culminating project for our year.
We really wanted them to, as a group, go out and just be in nature together, and then also to feel an individual connection to a particular feature in the land and to look really closely at it.
When the geologist was taking us around Hemlock Gorge, he was telling us about different rocks there, and when he told us about pudding stone, I found it interesting about the name and how it was formed.
He talked about how glaciers, they dropped when they were melting, they just dropped rocks on the ground, and those rocks stayed there. And over time, the water that passed by was changing how those rocks looked.
What is it about this rock or this particular formation in the land that sparks a question? And that's where we got into the standards for Earth's history. In this case, the standard that we looked at is how do you describe the Earth's surface, and then how do you explain how it got to be as it is.
After looking closely at geological formations at Hemlock Gorge, students came up with their own questions that they wanted to explore, such as, how did the Charles River form? How do glaciers create hills? How do rocks split apart? Students then worked with a local geologist to gain deeper insights into the geological processes. They also engaged in hands-on activities and looked at computer simulations to gain deeper understanding.
The challenge of making a comic out of it was then, how do you communicate this understanding? We had to rely on artists' ideas of understanding what scientists believe have happened over time.
We studied the arrival and American-born Chinese as a class and used that as a vehicle to identify literary themes, character traits, story development, and all of the other literary aspects that come up in all of the genres. We studied some scientific graphic novels, and we wrote essays, and then we translated them into graphic novels. The project and this product is so great, but I think what I hope that the students are getting from it is being critical artists, being geologists who are able to ask questions that get them to a deeper level of understanding.
In creating this graphic book, students reveal their understanding by graphically illustrating various geological concepts like rock formation, deposition of sediments, weathering, and erosion.